Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wait 2-3 minutes. Uh, Anshu, whatever have been marked first in the PPT. Karachi's Mohammed bin Tughlaq sending an expedition to Kumaon Hills with no reason, killing his men. That's it. There's no book like that. Anshu, ancient medieval world and modern together, you will not find in any book. No, Abhijit, there was no evidence of that. Yes, Veg. I have sent it to the team, Mega. Yes, Anjali. No, Prince. Ilma, only the first 1 hour may be problematic. Thereafter, it will be fine. Fertility is the reason why both are fighting. Temple based hierarchy means there are hierarchical systems within temples also. We wait 1 more minute and we start. Achyut Dev Rai related to uh, Tulwas only. No ruler in that series was Arividu. Kishan, as I said to Ilma, that if you missed last two classes, basically you missed medieval in a way starting. So Vijayanagara Bahamani, we have to discuss Nayankara and Bahamani. So first 1 hour may be little bit problematic. Thereafter it will be fine. Because Anjali, they are called later Vijayanagara rulers. They are part of the empire but not important to us. Okay. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we have discussed three to four very important things. We discussed Turkish invasion. We talked about establishment of Delhi Sultanate. We discussed the political history, market reforms, ICTA. That is the most important, ICTA. And over and above that, the concept of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, four experiments, administration. And yesterday we finished the Vijayanagara, the rulers, political history. And we were doing some of the previous questions. Now, today's agenda is to finish Vijayanagara fully, specifically administration part, which is called the Nayankara system. Once we're done with Nayankara system, we will move to Bahmani political systems, a political history. Then I have to give you a timeline of medieval India, because it is Bahmani which will start to disintegrate and give birth to multiple dynasties. And after this timeline, we will have to go for pre-Mughal polities, which would include the Sayyids, the Lodhis, and then I think last thing we discussed today is why Babur came to India. Why Babur came to India? Yes, Iqtidar is the one who's given the land for administrative purposes and as in lieu of salary. So these are very small topics. That is why we can cover quite a lot today. So we are transitioning between, in a way, Delhi Sultanate and Mughal India. And in that, we have discussed Vijayanagara, Bahmani, then out of Bahmani comes Berar, Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar. And then we'll discuss Sayyid, Lodi, and then First Battle of Panipat. So the first discussion we have is related to the system of Nayankara. Now, to understand Nayankara system, we'll revisit ICTA for 1 minute. Let's first discuss ICTA system. For the students who were not there yesterday, if you will pay attention or you have missed something, this should be enough to make you understand ICTA more or less. Now, when I talk about ICTA system, the whole empire under the Delhi Sultanate used to be divided into two parts. One is called Kharaj, then one is called ICTA. Kharaj is what is called as crown land. All revenue goes straight, rather goes directly to the imperial treasury. This is a direct source of revenue, direct source of the state. Now, in ICTA, it is allocated to Iqtidars, or is a revenue assignment given to an officer in lieu of salary, It was non-hereditary, non-permanent, and transferable. You had to have general administration, revenue administration, law and order. Over and above that, have a small military contingent also. And there's a very important point. Any excess revenue should be sent to Imperial Treasury. So basically, the Iqtidar in a way periodically transfers excess revenue, if any, to the king or sultan. This is basically what is the system, and there were accountants to check this and check this. They check. So there are checks and balances to the whole system. To which officer is Iqta given? Any officer. It's on the king. Iqtidar was accountant. No, now don't do this to me. 24 hours and now you're acting like you don't know Iqta. It's not something new I'm teaching you. Accountant checks the revenue, checks excess revenue. Iqtidar is an officer, could be any officer, and he has to be given a salary, so he will be given a salary. Can be given a cash salary, can be given a Iqta salary. It can be a Mukti Wali, or he can be a Khud Muqaddam on the basics of size. So this is what we discussed. I have put in 1 hour yesterday on this only. And I presume that you know this. Are we clear about Iqta? Akula, were you there yesterday? First tell me this. That is why these questions are coming. So I am going to presume that you should have watched the video. You should have watched the video. Yesterday's video. Now I can't go through the basic point. Iqta is a land given to an Iqtidar. Whatever I have written here was explained to you in 1 hour yesterday properly. So I cannot be doing the same thing 2 times. Yes, if you understand Jagirdari system, it's a little bit like that, but it's basically not properly Jagirdari. Jagirdari has much bigger aspects. So the point is, Iqta system, land is given to Iqtidar in lieu of salary. He has certain responsibilities. But the most important feature of the system is it is non-hereditary, non-permanent, transferable. That way, Iqta, if all checks and balances are there, does not fragment the empire. So it is basically a centralized decentralized system. So we have discussed Iqta in a lot of detail yesterday. Now the system which the Vijayanagara Empire used is called the Nayankara system. Is the Nayankara system. And you tell me, where did they get this idea from? I will not say anything right now. Under that, the whole Vijayanagara Empire was divided into 2 parts. One, crown land, there is no term for that. Land out of which the revenue directly goes to the Raya, king, or the central treasury, And thereafter, they chose to divide the whole empire into what are called Amaras. And that is why it's called the Amar Nayaka system. Amaras are allocated to military chiefs called Nayaks in lieu of their service to the state. They have to maintain general revenue administration, law and order, and have military contingent with them. Until this point, is the system any different from ICTA? The exact photocopy. I am discussing Amar Nayaka system, which listen, look at the screen. Vijayanagara Empire, crown, the whole empire has been divided to crown land, and thereafter into Amras. Amras word in the ICTA system is ICTA. The Amaras are the land. This is the land which is allocated to military chiefs called Nayaks in lieu of their service, which is general revenue, law and order, and military contingent. Is this system any different from Vijayanagara, from the ICTA, or the concept of the Delhi Sultanate in any way or form? This is what I have written here also. Here assigned with military contingent. Kishan, pay attention. At this point of time, it seems exactly the same. Now, there are three differences, and those three key differences are going to basically be the reason why the Vijayanagara Empire is a decentralized system, which will be very problematic later, unlike ICTA. Firstly, no revenue is transferred to the imperial treasury on periodic basis. Rather, the Nayaks show loyalty by sending tribute annually to the king. So there's one time transfer. And the biggest issue why this is so different, it is hereditary and permanent, only in rare case transferable. So basically, whatever were the strengths of the ICTA system, remove them and you get Nayankara. So basically, ICTA system minus non-hereditary, non-permanent, transferable, accountants equals to Nayankara. Would this formula be correct? This is basically the whole system. So basically, this is like how we do cheating in the examination. If you cheated from your friend, but you forgot to turn the page, you only it should be minus, not plus. Ikta system has all these things. If you remove it from it, it becomes Nayak. It's permanent. You mentioned non-permanent. अरे पढ़ो यार क्या लिखा है? What is written? What is written? A lot of you are sleeping. Ikta system has it. So from that, if I remove non-hereditary, non-permanent, transferable, and accounted, then you get Nayaka system, right? Or is it the other way around? The point is that in very, very, very rare cases, it is transferable. It is permanent and hereditary, and there is an annual tribute transfer. So in that sense, if ICTA has these features, if I remove these features from it, then you get it, right? So basic concept I'm trying to explain, you are sleeping and asking me to add to it. So the point which you need to understand here is that the Nayankara system takes up everything which is good in ICTA in a way, but also does not take the checks and balances, and they create Nayaks who are nothing but. In a way, the whole system works like this. The Rais only control the Nayaks, and the Nayaks control the people. The real power is here. The real power is concentrated here. Nayaks show temporary loyalty via tribute transfer, and Rais control the Nayaks until they are powerful enough. This is a truly decentralized model of concept, decentralized model of administration. So basically, you can call Nayaks feudatories if you want to call them. The point is that feudatories don't even send tribute. They are sending tribute because they are military chiefs. The simple point I'm trying to argue is that the strength of the ICTA is created as a weakness of the Nayankara system. Nayankara system has all the bad things of ICTA. ICTA could become decentralized if it did not have any of these issues. One of them will be introduced by Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and that is going to be the reason why Delhi Sultanate is going to decline. So, Nayankara system is hereditary from starting of empire. Yes, it is given to one Nayak. His first son is going to get it Nayak after Nayak. Hereditary means that only. So, can I now argue that you understand what is the ICTA system and what is the Nayankara system? Will you be able to differentiate it in the examination? If a statement-based question gives you a little bit of tricky statements, but at least it's giving you a hint. Okay. Now let's read this out. The Nayankara system, then this Vijayanagara, it's not unlike the Taksha. It's properly decentralized. Vijayanagara Empire was a properly decentralized. There were 4,000 to 5,000 Nayaks. And if you remember, when I was discussing the Sulvas, I gave you a name of Narsara Nayak. That was one Nayak who became too powerful. And that is why there was a rebellion from him, and they had to remove the Narsara Nayak and defeat him. So Nayankar system, important characteristic of Vijayanagara political organization. Among those who exercised the real power or the empire, the power in the empire, were military chiefs who usually controlled forts and armed supporters. Also, they had proper people with them. These chiefs moved around and looking for the fertile land for their peasant, and in that context, they will get grants from the Raya itself. These chiefs are known as Nayaks and usually spoke Telugu or Kannada. Many Nayaks submitted to the authority of the Vijayanagara king, but often rebelled and had to be subdued by military action. The Amar Nayaka system was a major political innovation of the Vijayanagara Empire in basically destroying the Ikta system. It had a lot of features of the Ikta system, and basically it's an innovation in destroying something good. Thereafter, the Amar Nayakas were military commanders who were given territory to govern by the Raya. They collected taxes and other dues from the peasant craftsmen and traders. They retained part of the revenue for personal use and maintaining for stipulated contingent of horse and elephants. These contingents were then provided to the Vijayanagara kings for effective fighting force in the whole of peninsular India. Some of the revenue was also used to maintain temples and irrigation works. Amar Raika sent tribute to the king annually and personally appeared in the court to express loyalty. Kings occasionally could assert their control by transferring them also. However, during the course of 17th century, many of these Nayaks established independent kingdoms and thereafter in turn led to the collapse of imperial structure. So contingent means regiment. So the basic point is Nayankara system is the way the whole power is dissolved in the Vijayanagara Empire. Ikta was introduced in India by Iltutmish. Before that, a old system of Central Asia. Chituri contingent regiment. Can I now talk about a village level administration and then move to Mahamani? Regiment, you not contingent regiment, tukdi, whatever you want to call it. When there are 50, 60 people together in a military setup, it's called a contingent. Now, the Nayaks, in a way, replicated this model of interlinked structures at the village level also, because the Nayaks then gave three positions to hereditary people: headman, watchman, and accountant. And these were very specifically given to specific families: Reddys, Gauda, Maniam, Karnam, Senobhava, and Taliyari. And you can realize that Reddy, Gauda, Maniam, and Senobhava are very important communities today in South India. These are very, 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 very wealthy communities of South India because they were linked to the Aigar system. In this, what happens is that the Nayak gives these three positions to three important families or these families, and they are going to service this village with regards to being the headman, accountant, and watchman. And in lieu of service for that, how the Nayak gets the land from the Rai, they are given a land in the village which are called Manya grant, which is tax free. Basically, this is exactly land grant system. And certain times they were given cash also, but mostly they were given land. So the landed community in this whole sector is under these surnames nowadays because of the fact that Aiga system gave a lot of land to them. So the Aiga system is very straightforward. You have the Raya, the Nayak. This is called the Nayankara system. Now the Nayak needs to control the village. So in the village, he will give these three positions: headman, watchman, accountant, to three specific families, and all of these three service the village, and what they get in lieu of service, manya, tax free land grant. And this system is called the Agar system. So basically, if you look at it, the whole system is decentralized. Till the village level, it is decentralized. So the administration of the Vijayanagara Empire is a proper model of decentralization. And all of them are hereditary also. Don't learn the family names, just learn the positions. They're given to a certain community, that doesn't matter. Hereditary. Are we clear with regards to this? Can I close Vijayanagara if you understand these two models? Aigar and Nayankara. That whatever is written on the screen, it makes sense to you. Not necessarily Shreyank or Shreyansh. No, not necessarily. Watchmen basically policing duties. Okay. Now, the last thing which we have to discuss about, it is not transferable. If it is a tax-free land grant, how it will be transferable? The last thing we need to talk about are certain terms and these travelers which have come during the Vijayanagara period. So you have Mandalam Nadu, that doesn't really change. From the Chola period, you have the Valanadu and the Nadu. So the Mandalam Nadu remains the same. Under that, you have Sthala and Gram. So there is again simple, straightforward point. 4 levels of administration. Tax-free land grant means tax to be collected, not to be given to king. Yes. Please don't do this again. Something exactly the same the way Satavahanas gave it, Cholas gave it, the early medieval rulers gave it. It is tax-free land grant. The currency of the Vijayanagara Empire was pagoda. Varahas is also a word which is used for it. Gold coins. Tax rate is fixed on fertility. I discussed with you yesterday itself. And Amaram are the land which is given to the Nayaks for maintaining their military contingents. Now the point is, in the examination, this has come from time to time, which is because there are multiple people who are traveling into the Vijayanagara Empire, and Vijayanagara Empire is linked to the horse trade with Europe also. Multiple travelers came to India, and you just have to know their names. So, Conti and Razak came during Devraya II's rule, coming from Italy and Persia, Herat. Thereafter, Nikitin, a Russian who basically came not exactly to the Vijayanagara Empire but more towards the Bahmani rule. He will visit the Vijayanagara Empire. He thought that horses were never sold in India, so he came from Russia with a horse. Later got looted of the horse itself, and he had to go to the Bahmani king to get it back. Then you have Varthema, who came in Italy not to any specific ruler. Then two people who talk about the Vijayanagara Empire too much, the Portuguese, Barbosa and Pius, Krishnadev Raya, and they give multiple accounts about the countryside itself. Nunes, who comes under the successor of Krishnadev Raya, Achyut Rai, and Ferdici, coming from Italy under Tirumala Devraya. Again, Devraya means these are all these Tullavas, and these are all Sangamas. And you already know Vasco da Gama came under the Sulvas. And when we talk about the Vijayanagara Empire generally, their level of tank building, water manipulation, and water management was that way very, very advanced. And because this area is very, what we call as, there are issues of perennial water supply. So therefore, water management was, as it is very important, when it rains, the catchment areas needs to catch that water. And therefore, Pius when he visited the Krishnadevaraya sector, he talked about how there were thousands of people who were involved in cutting the landscape in such a way that tanks were made. So they used to manipulate the landscape in such a way that certain areas would become higher areas, and they could then basically store water there. And then this water could be brought down via different aqueducts or pipes. So in that regard, Vijayanagara Empire was very conscious, and you can see a pattern here. All empires in the southern sector were quite conscious of water resources, because because the volume of the river reduces and increases throughout the year. So water management is something which the Cholas are also very conscious of, and this is also conscious of. Again, pagoda, same pagoda, Golden Farman pagoda, Rahul, chill. Yes, same pagoda. It is written, pagoda is the gold coins issued by Vijayanagara Empire. But later, pagoda quality will go down and it will become silver coins. But it is the currency of the Vijayanagara state. Even the Bahamanis will use it, and that's why Golconda state will give it. So I know that you know. Okay. So can I now talk about the next important 1347 Bahamanis? This is the first part of the story done. Vijayanagara, there's a lot of political history. There's one connection between Vijayanagara and Bahmani. That's called the Battle of Talikota. I'll tell you once I have discussed the successes of Bahmani thereafter. How they issued gold coin and Delhi Sultanate only copper, because they are linked to external trade. Because of the prosperity of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, they had more money than Delhi Sultanate at this point of time. Amaram is the word which is used for land given. Amaram, which is the land given to the Nayak. Is everybody on board? Are we all on the same page? Because as I said, there's a lot of political history which can be done, but it is immaterial to us. Whatever you need to know has already been told to you. I will now go to the Bahmani state. I will discuss their political history, and then I want to give you a timeline which is going to be more valuable than this whole discussion. How they coexist, Delhi Sultanate never fought with them. Look at the map and tell me, why would Vijayanagara not fight with Delhi Sultanate? You tell me. Use your imagination and tell me, why would that be the case that Delhi Sultanate would never fight with Vijayanagara Empire? It's the obvious. Bahmani state is in between them. Bahmanis fought with the Delhi Sultanate, and Delhi Sultanate became too weak. So basically, the de facto border became Narmada. If you are below Narmada River, you are mostly Narmada and Mahanadi. You are below that, you are basically in territory where you are either with the Bahmani kingdom or Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara, as it is, will not have a direct interaction with Delhi Sultanate because of Bahmanis. Bahmani had interactions, but Narmada became the de facto border. Now, yesterday I discussed that how the Bahmani state also had a connection with Muhammad bin Tughlaq, that wherein Alauddin Hassan or Alauddin Hassan Gangu, he was the one who established the Bahmani rule. And very simply, Vijayanagara Empire present will be northern Karnataka and all of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, the whole sector. The Bahmani state would be mix of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. This much at least geography you should understand, which is that if this is northern Karnataka, where Vijayanagara Hampi is today in northern Karnataka, this whole sector, Hampi, Bellur, this whole sector is like that only. Now, Alauddin Hassan established. There are two rulers who succeeded him, Muhammad Shah I, Muhammad Shah II. And Alauddin Hassan established whilst the Vijayanagara Empire was busy going southwards. That is why Bukka I was defeated by Muhammad Shah I, because their religious consciousness was not allowing them to have good cavalry and archers, while Muhammad Shah had mostly all the Delhi Sultanate, what we call fleeing soldiers, the soldiers who had either used and disbanded or were sick and tired of the Delhi Sultanate or Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad Shah too, he will try to develop friendly relations with Vijayanagara Empire, so a little bit of what we call as a stability. But the most fierce and something like an equivalent king to Krishna Dev Raya would be Firoz Shah Bahmani. But understand one thing, Firoz Shah Bahmani is before Krishna Dev Raya. So the Bahmani kingdom peaked before Krishna Dev Raya could come and become the most dominant ruler throughout this sector. So Firoz Shah Bahmani, a very well-read man, he wanted to make the Deccan and the Bahmani kingdom the center of learning at this point of time. Culturally, he has contributed quite a lot, with multiple texts being translated and written during his period in the Deccan with regards to botany, geometry, logic, a lot of things. And he and his very important prime minister, Mahmud Gawan, are the ones who basically dominated the Bahmani kingdom and dominated the Vijayanagara Empire also. So he's a calligraphist, writes very well, poet himself, and a traveler called Farishta tells us that he did not even just know one language from Persian, Arabic, and Turkish. He knew the vernacular languages also, Telugu, Kannada, and Marathi. He wanted to make Deccan a culture center, so he basically encouraged people from Iraq and Iran, scholars, to come and settle in this sector. And the fact is that he was the first one to realize that Bahmani kingdom can only become what it should be if it goes beyond religious understanding. And he will induct Deccani Brahmins in huge numbers to sort out his empire and his revenue administration. Bukawan was defeated by Muhammad Shawan. Now, the Bahmani kingdom was what it was because of Mahmud Gawan. Mahmud Gawan is the prime minister. He is the prime minister of Firoz Shah Bahmani, and initially a trader. He will meet Firoz Shah Bahmani whilst he will be traveling in this sector, and he will become extremely impressed by the acumen and the way Mahmud Gawan had an understanding of polity and administration itself. And for almost 20 years, he will be related to the empire, who was Farishta, a traveler. For 20 years, he will be associated with the Bahmani kingdom generally. Now, it is under him that Devraya I was defeated multiple times. So Firoz Shah Bahmani and Devraya I, or these are two contemporaries. That is why Devraya II will realize that the strength is actually more of the Bahmani kingdom because of their military. And that is why he will give multiple blows to the Vijayanagara Empire, take Goa and Dabhol, two very important ports from the Vijayanagara Empire, and that is why Goa was given by the Bahmani kingdom successor Bijapur to the Portuguese. It was not Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire lost all of this to Firoz Shah Bahmani and Mahmud Gawan in the initial period of struggle itself. So you can see that Bahmanis are going to peak first, then Vijayanagara Empire. Thereafter, what you have to remember is their administrative structure, but they are not that complicated as the Nayankara system. They are more closer to a Ikta, not even Ikta, simple, straightforward system. They, the king stood at the pinnacle. Is every king is always the pinnacle. They had multiple different positions which are given. You have Wazir, you have Dabir, you have Kiladar, you have Bakshi, Mufti, you have Kotwal. These are actually terms which are going to become very common by the time we come to Mughal India, but used like that. Muhammad Shah I used to divide the whole empire into four parts, which were Daulatabad, Berar, Bidar, and Gulbarg. However, he used to call it Atarafs. Atarafs is nothing but a word for province. But Gawan realized that having such big units is not going to work, so he rather divided them further into 8 units. He made it 8. There were 4 Atarafs. He made it 8 units. Don't have to learn the 8 units. And he changed the name to Tarafs. What does Taraf mean? What does Taraf mean? What is the meaning of taraf? Taraf means direction. So the word ataraf and taraf come out of that whole concept of direction. Direction. Salaries were given fixed, sometimes given in cash, and sometimes given in land also. So they gave both cash salaries also to their soldiers and to their officers, and sometimes land also, which was called Jagir. Nothing to do with the Mughal Jagirdari system, but the word Jagir, that I'm giving you a Jagir, so it's closer to Ikta also, and it has cash component also. The last thing which we need to know about the Gawan and Firozshah Bahmani administration is going to be how they basically developed the most important mosque and what we call as the madarsa of Bidar, which is till today considered one of the foremost. It's basically the Nalanda University of Deccan Administration and Islam, wherein the Bidar Madarsa is considered the most important institution established by Gawan. In this, close to 1,000 teachers and students could study and be taught free food and free clothing for all of them. And we will discuss the other contributions of the Bahmani kingdom culturally when we'll go into art and culture. But this is of notable understanding. Now, now, what I now need to discuss with you is that by 1490, Krishnadev Raya is going to become important, and Bahmani kingdom is going to get disintegrated. Bidar, it is in Bidar, Bidar city. Now, what I want to do is basically give you a understanding of this whole period, a timeline. But before I do that, Vijayanagara Bahmani Nayankar system basic political history is clear. Because what I'm going to have a discussion with you right now is even more important than what we've done till this point. Because if you understand that, you will forever not never forget the medieval India. I've given you multiple timelines for ancient India. Here, I'm going to give you it for medieval India. Can I discuss that with you? Are we all on the same page? There's nothing here. I'm going towards Battle of Panipat. That is the most important next point which we have to do after this. Okay. Now, before we look at this map, just look at the locations. Golconda, Bidar is landlocked. Berar written something like this also. Some Berar is written like this also. Berar and Ahmednagar and Bijapur. Bijapur, Ahmednagar towards Maharashtra, Golconda towards Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Bidar basically the Telangana sector, and whole of Vijayanagara is controlling mostly till northern Karnataka, and Berar would be Deccan sector, some parts of MP also included into it. Now, you need to understand how they are placed to each other. How they are placed to each other. Now, this is a very important discussion I have with you. Okay. Now, if you look at it, (1347), thereafter 1490, 1492, 1518. We can add to this Battle of Talikota 1565. Ala Pratihara Rajputa Chola Chauhan Gahadwalas Chandelas Solankis Senas. Look at the date I'm talking about, 1191, not before it. So Thomas I will not write. Now out of the Bahmani, by 1490, we will have Bijapur, Ahmednagar, and Berar emerging. 1492, it's going to be Bidar. This is going to be Golconda. But 1565 is important because this is called the Battle of Talikota. Which is Vijayanagara defeated by Golconda. Ahmednagar, Bidar, and the Bijapur sector. Only Berar was not involved. This is the alliance which fought, and that is why it is after him, after this, that the Arividu Empire comes. I've shown you 1350 to show you that Muhammad bin Tughlaq in rule for 1 year. He will be alive after where he died. I'll also add 1414, rise of Sayyids. This is still not the full timeline. I'll give it to you on the next page. Rise of Sayyids, 1450. Rise of Lodhis, and 1526. Which is first battle of Panipat. This is basically the timeline. We didn't read about Sayyid Lodhis. Arre, karana hai. I have to do it. I have to discuss everything with you. I'm trying to give you the timeline so that you place them in the right sense. Bidar was the capital, yes, of Bahamanis. Now, this is still not the complete timeline. There is a whole timeline which should go till 1707. If you understand the basic placement here, I want to give you the larger timeline, but that I will not start from 1191. I will start it from the period of 1206. Yes, okay. 1518 got erased. 1518. What happened to Muhammad Tughlaq? Hello, yeah. See, this is the issue with. I'm just trying to show you where Muhammad bin Tughlaq is. Now it's okay. Nothing happened to him. Just to show you where he's placed. So Bahmani came after Vijayanagara, but Bahmani reached its zenith power earlier. Yes. Shah 1, Shah 2 are different persons. Obviously, Muhammad Shah 1 and Muhammad Shah 2 are different people. Father son. 1191 Chauhan Gadwalas Chandela Cholanki Senas. Now, I am now going to give you the whole master timeline. Obviously, I have not taught you Lodhis, Sayyads, anything. I have to teach you that. And in the process of discussing all of that, I will also give you the names of the rulers of Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar. Not today. The basic point is this is the master timeline. I am doing it here because you need to understand that there is a period in which there are a lot of dynasties and then it will go into Mughal India. So, if I look at it properly, 1426. Ahmednagar. Thereafter, 86 would be Bijapur, and it would be Golconda. Now, basically, this is how they are placed with each other. So Berar till here, Bidar till here. You have Ahmednagar till here. Then Bijapur till here. Golconda is the last to rise and last to decline. This is basically how they're placed. 1498 onwards, you have all the Europeans obviously here. 1498, 1500, 1503, 1505, throughout this period. And this is all Mughal Empire. Doesn't matter if that dotted lines are clear or not, doesn't really matter. I've just tried to give you just a simple dotted line. Bidar, Berar are Taraf. Are again, Anjali, these are independent states. Independent states. Those were under the Bahmani rule. Bahmanis will cease to exist after 1490 itself. Why are you complicating it? Did I say it is Taraf Ataraf? I'm saying independent states. That is why I showed you this map, right? This map. This map is to show you that how does the Bahmani kingdom disintegrate. So you will get Bijapur. Bijapur, what is the then date? Let's add it here only. 1490, and you will go till 1686. 1490, 1686. Ahmednagar again is going to be 1490 till 1636. 1490, 1636. Berar is going to be what? Again 1490, 1572. 1490, 1572. Then Golconda, last to rise, 1518, 1687. 1518, 1687. And Bidar, in between all of this, is 1619 and 1492. Now you get it, what I'm trying to show you here. All of them were prosperous in their own right. Are we clear about the timelines? Because if you have an understanding of this, your modern India becomes better. Your modern India becomes better because most of early modern happens in this sector only, which is between this 1500 and 1600 and 1717. So if this is clear, I give you a breather, 5 minutes. We come back and discuss Sayyads, Lodis, and then go towards the first battle of Panipat. Clear, everybody? Come on. Okay. So we come back at 7:15. I'll not write it here. We come back at 17:15, 7:15, and then we take the movie, the movie or the story forward. Okay. You want to be on this or the map slide? Which one you want to be? Map. Okay. Leave you here. Welcome back. Okay. Delhi Sultanate, Vijayanagara Bahamani. We have to now move towards now. We did yesterday this. This is something which I'll do later. We did this also. We did this also. We did this also. Yes. Okay. Do this question. Who among the following will advise his subjects through his inscription? Whosoever praises his religious sect or blames other sects of excessive devotion to his own sect, with the view of glorifying his own sect, he rather injures his own sect very severely. Come on. Internal issues after Mahmud Gawan and Firozshah Bamni, no major ruler, and the Vijayanagar state became very powerful. Perfect. The only man who had the time to do these things, this sect, that sect, view glorifying sect is only one man. No one else in his inscriptions talked about sects. This is Thamma. Remember, if there is a lot of moral justification being given, it is Ashoka. Clear? This should be a slam dunk. Samudragupta did not care. Harshvardhan did not have the power. Krishnadev Rai also doesn't have the reach. Because only one of these person had the power to erect what we call as major and minor rock edicts across India. Are we all clear? Because 58% is a lower number. Inscription number doesn't matter, Shweta. I really don't care. But this would be basically 12. Okay. Uh, this okay. With reference to Indian history, which of the following is are the essential elements of feudal system? A very strong centralized political authority and a weak provincial or local political authority. Emergence of administrative structures based on control and possession of land. Creation of lord-vassal relationship between feudal lord and overlord. Kishan, how do you define elite college? Arividu Shelley, you just need to know about them. They are there after Talikota. So the ruler names I will not bombard you with. Perfect. 71% totally correct. The catch is that the first statement is in reverse. First statement is in reverse, which is in a feudal system, there's no centralized strong political authority. It's rather the other way around. Provincial and local authorities are much stronger than the this is a definition of a centralized model. Is it linked to land possession and control with regards to administrative structures? Yes, land grant. And this is being picked up from the basic point of what is called as feudalism, pure feudalism, which is lord vassal, feudal lord and vassal, which is again the lord and vassal relationship. This is the king and the landlord relationship. Totally correct. As it is, if you know that one is incorrect, automatically there are two only options left, and you have two is correct as it is. So 2 and 3, the question automatically gives you the point that this has to be correct. But the point is, this question is a theoretical question. UPSC has been and will be asking you theoretical questions related to these areas. Thereafter, okay. Regarding the taxation system of Krishnadeva, the ruler of Vijayanagara considered the following statements. The tax rate on land was fixed depending on the quality of land. Private owners of workshops paid an industries tax. Now here something very standard happens, which is called overthinking. Let's see if you can basically undercut it. Raj, you are not meant to see that. As I know, 41-31, 45-31. See, this is correct. I told you, Vijayanagara state under Krishnadev Raya takes land tax as per fertility. This is not the problematic one. Now, what basically you would have done is this. Said that there are no industries, so there can be no tax. This is what we have argued, right? That the word industries tax cannot be used for Vijayanagara Empire. The logic for most of you is going to be this only. Now, the problem is that the examiner had a very limited vocabulary. According to him, the statement is correct. Artisanal taxes, he calls it industries tax. I told you that artisans, handicrafts were taxed, all forms of things were taxed. But the point is that for the examiner, this statement is correct. Because according to him, industries is a open word, a generic word which is used. So this is basically the problem of limited vocabulary of the examiner. Because he could have used any statement, he could have used any word, rather than saying that private owners of workshop are paid a tax or paid a artisanal tax. He used the word industries tax. So this is the problem. This could be called an artisanal tax also. But the problem is he doesn't know. But the statement is correct. Now this is sometimes you have to overcome. Sometimes you have to overcome this urge to dissect the statement too much. Now artisans are way different from industries. Modern say industries destroy artisans, consider both as same. इतना दिमाग examiner नहीं लगाया ना. That's the point. The examiner did not understand that the students will think of industries in the modern sense. According to him, he is used the word as a generic word for any taxes on, basically for him, artisans equals to industries. So the problem is that in history questions and sometimes in polity you will also see, in economics you will also see, sometimes the logic doesn't really work. But according to the UPSC, the logic goes ahead. This is the problem. That the logic actually doesn't stand. It should be incorrect, but it isn't. Now, I don't blame you here, the 31%, but this is the problem of sometimes dissecting certain areas too much. Right? And then, yes, that is true that the examiner would say that the workshop word has been used. So, that is the point is that the examiner did not have that nuance to say that I'm undercutting industries with workshop. Then he would not have used the word private owners also. This whole sentence itself is fraught with a lot of words which makes no sense in the Vijayanagara context. Are we getting the point? So it's not your fault, but sometimes we have to go with the basic generic explanation of that thing. Okay. Now this, if everybody is going to get correct, then only we move forward. 100% I want. Banjaras during medieval period of Indian history were agriculturists, warriors, weavers, traders. Now, please, I want everybody's answer to be correct, then only you move forward. Sometimes examiner can be, yes, can be wrong. Recently, 2 questions were dropped. So, yes, why not? Who sets papers? Someone. Like, कौन है ये 13%, 10%? Who are these 13, 5, 10%? I have in this whole discussion only discussed Banjaras in one context as traders. Then why are you answering agriculturists, warriors, and weavers? For the people who are not there yesterday, okay. But that number is still very big. What is the reason? Market reforms, they are trading between two centers, countryside and urban center. Till today, Banjaras are traders. Quality of fertility land both equal. Quality of land, fertility land, same thing. Is this question difficult? Or have any of the questions I've done till this point difficult? In any way or form? So, out of whatever we've done, the questions are not reflecting the level. You can do this one also. Which one of the following ancient towns is well known to have elaborate system of water harvesting management systems by building a series of dams channelized? Again, if you get this correct, we can still move forward. This is a current affairs question. Current affairs question. (1613). It was given the UNESCO World Heritage tag for that only. Elaborate water management. Kalibangan is known for fire altars. Rakhigadi and Ropad are known for agriculture. Sir, Sunday test not discussed in class. So when do we discuss Sunday test in class? We don't discuss the test which comes to you in class. Namdev, where are you getting these information from? I don't know. Sunday test not discussed in class. Obviously not discussed in class. That is not the purpose of that test. No, the test which comes to you on Saturday has explanations. I'm teaching you. Then why should I discuss that Sunday test? Okay. Kalibangan is known for fire altars. Havan Kunds. Okay. You want to see the leaderboard? I can do one more if we have. You can do this one, but it's a difficult question. With reference to the cultural history of India, this will be done better after art and culture, but why not? With reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following pairs. Pravajka or Parivrajaka, which is renunciant and wanderer. Sharmana, priest with high status. Upasaka, lay follower of Buddhism. Which of the following is correctly matched? Abhishek, that logic will not work. In this, you just need to know one word, a modern word, and you can automatically do it. %45 still very good. It's a difficult question. 23. See, Parivrajaka is the act of leaving the house. Correct. Renunciant. The act of becoming a renunciant is Pravrajaka. Upasak, Upasika is lay or what is called standard follower. This is also correct. If you will think that it should be Arhat, then it is not the word Arhat. Arhat is not a follower of Buddhism. He just knows Buddhist philosophy. So the students who put in the idea that a Upasak is going to be incorrect because it should be Arhat. A standard follower is Upasaka and Upasika. But if you are not a follower, then you are called an Arhat. Now you tell me what is the Hindi or what is the modern word for a worker? What do you call a worker in Hindi? Or in what not in Hindi today? Shramik. Shramana. Shramik, Shramana. This is the incorrect one. There are two connotations for Sharma or Shramik. Either you're coming from a Vaishya community or you are a worker. Shramana is basically a term for a worker, basically a wage earner. This question is difficult because of this only. That these are words which basically not are for high priest itself. Shramana in different contexts have different terms, but the word in which it has been used is Shramik. So it becomes 1 and 3. But this is a difficult question. I can give it to you. This type of question, if you don't have these type of options, it becomes even more problematic. If it becomes 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, this will become a very difficult question. So you want to see the leaderboard and then we go to the next most important, Mughal India, part 1. Okay. Deepika 60. I don't know how many questions I've done. 77 or 6. Deepika, Ramdas, Raghav, Shri, Somashri, Anshu, Shubhangi, Devsmita, Prince. Thereafter, Amy, Yash, Dhanya, Kamalini, Janvi, Devo, Alka, Shushti, Kamlesh Kishore, Abhishek Yadav, and Shreyank. As I said, this only shows the first 10, 15, that doesn't matter. Your name could be there for a rank, but it only shows the first 20. The more quicker you answer, the more quickly your name goes into it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Don't make it KBC. Now, after doing these questions and finishing Delhi Sultanate and Vijayanagara Bahmani, are we all comfortable with the first three modules of medieval? Because now we go into the last three, which is Mughal, and Maratha Sikh and Bhakti Sufi. These are the four modules which are left. Two Mughal India, and then one on the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj himself. Thereafter, we have Sikhism, and then a module which I basically count in art and culture, which is basically Bhakti Sufi. It's actually easier than ancient, as you will see, much more straightforward. Because in ancient, there are multiple dynasties at one point of time, too many names. Here, it's actually more linear in that regard. So now we enter module number 3, 4, which is, or rather 4, 5, which is Mughal India. Mughal India. I have divided it into two parts. First part includes pre-Mughal plus the political history, and part 2 includes administration, Mansabdari, Jagirdari, Rajput policy, religious policy, decline. Again, like Delhi Sultanate, this is the area out of which the questions are being asked. Not political history, but administrative and other aspects, which is Akbar's Rajput policy, Akbar's religious policy, Aurangzeb's religious policy, the decline, Mansabdari, Jagirdari, very important that ways. Now, the number of chapters out of books will increase exponentially. So, you have Satish Chandra, 4 chapters based on Mughal India for this part only. One in 7th class NCERT, the other one 2 in 12th class part 2. Unfortunately, these two have been now dropped by the NCERT, but you can still find it in older editions which are available on the net. If you want to read it, you will find it. The 12th class part 2 now does not have a Mughal India chapter. I don't understand the purpose of that. As it is, it makes no sense. But you have to find the earlier versions. The latest NCERT book will not have these chapters. That's a separate issue altogether. And we have to rather now go into pre-Mughal politics. Now, PPTs are not enough. You're asking me or you're telling me? PPT is enough, but you can't run away from revising from the NCERT at least. That is what I expect from you. That NCERTs are important in that way. How can we remove? Why have we removed this and that? Doesn't really matter, because it has been removed. You and me can't do anything about it. Somebody had a logic, they got an epiphany, they did it. So doesn't matter. We don't go into the politics of it, but I really don't care. We still have multiple books which talk about Mughal India, and you can't basically talk about modern India without Mughal India. So I really don't care. Now, I wish UPSC also dropped this chapter. It would be easy for us. तो फिर तो पूरा syllabus ही drop करवा दो. It's better. Then why do you want to study history only? Geography, history, polity, everything should be dropped. I don't get the logic of saying that it will become easier. If you don't study Mughal India. Then 1613 Farman, 1614 Farman, 1651 Farman, 1717 Farman. Aliens gave the British and went. This is Jahangir, Shah Shuja, and Aurangzeb, Farrukhsiyar. Then who gave the Farmans to the British? Then who is Bahadur Shah Zafar? Then who is Shah Alam II? Who they fought against in Battle of Buxar? Why to study British? वो भी drop कर देते हैं. Perfect. So our birth of our nation was based on randomly 1947. People came together and said, okay, now we can be a nation. Let's write a constitution. Come on here. If you don't want to study, that is your call. But I don't know how you teach modern India without Mughal India or any other part of medieval India or any other thing. So be it the successor state model, be it rebel state, be it till 1857, be it the whole model, whatever. That this is the problem, na. The people who don't know history are taking decisions for history. So then you drop randomly. See, as I said, I really don't care. If UPSC will drop it, good. But let's wait for that. Till this point, it is part of optional syllabus and part of our syllabus. At this point of time, we can't do anything about it. Okay. Again, Soumeshri, these are points which are very good to discuss, but are immaterial to your discussion, to our discussion, and to anything which we do. The point is, if we discuss politics here, nobody important who will change politics is here. We are here to clear the examination. Let's do that. That's it. If UPSC will say that the sun comes out from the south, we will do that also. Okay. In interview, this question does not come. What question does not come? By in interview, if you're talking about Mughal India chapters being dropped, then I don't know what interview you are giving. Because then you have taken your interview in such a direction that you will, as it is, not come back from that. So somehow you have started from tell us something about yourself to now you criticizing NCRT for dropping Mughal India chapter. So these two, how they have got connected is a very dangerous connection. So doesn't matter. Okay. Sorry. Now, when we talk about pre-Mughal polities, it starts with the moment of 1398. In 1398, a person called Timur came to India. Now, after Genghis Khan, Timur was the next person to try to consolidate the what we call as Central Asian sector. And in a way, Timur and which is Genghis Khan, and Timur are related. Because in a way, because Tamannya Khan, basically who's the great grandfather of Genghis Khan, is also related to Timur. But as you can see that Genghis Khan and Timur are different sides, wherein this is full Mongol side. He is not a Mongol. He's not a proper Mongol. He's basically Mongol plus Timur Turk, or what we call as Timur tribe. That's basically called Chagtai. If you go into very specificities, it's called Mongol plus Chagtai. Chagtai is a type of tribe again in this sector. and therefore that is why his empire was called the Chaktai Mongol or Chaktai dynasty. Because if you will see any map of Timur's dynasty, one second, you will find this as a very interesting, you see, it will be called Chaktai Khante. And Timurid Empire, when he developed it, was basically based on this Chagtai understanding. So Chagtais are a different tribe itself. Mongols and Chagtais interact, and Timur comes out of it. So I'm not really care. I really don't care too much about Timur in that sense. But in a way, they are connected because his great, 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 great grandfather is Tamanne Khan. Only 3 generations here or 4 generations, rather 8 generations, 9 generations here. So Timur is not a proper Mongol. That is why Timur's understand he is called Timur, and they are remembered from their father's identity. So you have Taraghai, then Burgal Noyan. The point is these are Central Asian tribes interacting with each other. So Timur, after Genghis Khan, was the major person to consolidate this sector, and in a way Timur was defeating the sons of Mongols itself or Genghis Khan itself. And Timur reaches till Delhi. Till Delhi. He will defeat Mahmud Tughlaq or Nasiruddin Muhammad Tughlaq. And he will basically, in a way, for academic purposes, this is the end of Delhi Sultanate. As soon as Timur adds Indian subcontinent Delhi to the empire, to the Timurid empire, we believe that Delhi Sultanate has ended. And between 1398 and 1414, Timur himself ruled this sector. Timur himself ruled this sector. This whole area which you see here is the Timurid empire. He is going to rule this whole sector, and in a way, Delhi will be part of it itself. He came to Delhi because of its prosperity. He was expanding throughout the sector. In a way, he had consolidated from the Black Sea till Delhi in that regard. And for the academic purposes, we believe that now Delhi Sultan has declined. And I told you I will leave it to you to decide if Sayyads are part of Delhi Sultanate or not. Because between 1398 and 1414, Delhi Sultanate rule is not there. Now, Timur has defeated Mahmud Tughlaq. He has looted Delhi. He's gone back, but he's kept it within his empire. But being in the Central Asian sector, he can't rule Delhi, or he does not want to sit in Delhi. So what he does is that before he goes in 1414, or rather he starts his expedition towards the west, he will talk about, or he will appoint Khiz Khan as the next ruler of Delhi. And he comes from a community which is called Sayyads. Now, Sayyads are known for their very pointy hats, the white hats which they wear. That's why they call the Khula Daran also. Khula means pointed, Daran means hat. Sayyads are considered to be descendants of are related to the Prophet Muhammad himself, sister of Prophet Muhammad, and therefore they are always given a lot of respect within the Islamic community. But Sayyads never had a very strong empire. They, after the Mughal invasion, Khiz Khan, Mubarak Shah, Muhammad Shah, and Alam Shah, all are very, very weak rulers. A standard thing which comes in the examination is their sequence. And just have to remember, Ki Mub Muh Al. Just remember Mubarak and Muhammad. That it is first Mubarak Shah and then Muhammad Shah. And very simply, they were ruling around Delhi and its areas, because Delhi Sultanate was very big. Delhi Sultanate was very, very big when they lost to Timur, but they are only ruling in and around Delhi, 30, 35 kilometers, 40 kilometers. Why would Timur not rule in Delhi? Because he has a much bigger empire and he wants to go towards the west, which is towards Europe. So Delhi is important, but he just added it to the empire, and then he went back and appointed Khiz Khan after a period of 15, 16 years, saying that you manage this area. He was basically appointed. Khiz Khan is a nominee of Timur, who basically was given Delhi by Timur. And that is why nobody really accepted Khiz Khan for a very long time. And he only ruled 50, 60 kilometers around Delhi. That will be true for Mubarak Shah also. Mubarak Shah was brought in. He will be killed by his own nobles because they were infighting that who should become the next king. Again, he had certain expedition against the communities in and around Delhi, which were becoming a problem for Delhi generally because they were raiding Delhi in that regard. But nothing really again. Peacock throne is Nadir Shah. Muhammad Shah again did not survive in fighting too much, and again was ruling only around 30 kilometers in and around Delhi. And Alam Shah had one governor. His name is Behlul Lodi. Behlul Lodi went to Alam Shah and said, I have two options. To be very honest, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा. That your family have not been able to rule Delhi properly. You are just ruling in and around Delhi. You Sayyads are useless. So I have two options. Either I kill you and capture power, or give me the power automatically. And that is what he did. Alam Shah said, take it, let me retire. I don't want to get involved in this. I will killed by my own nobility in that regard. So he said that Mubarak Shah was killed. You have Muhammad Shah being killed. You will also get killed. Rather give me the power and go. And this is what he did. So in the examination, they're not asking you the story of these rulers. They'll ask you the sequence. A very standard question is, consider the following, put them in sequential order. That much I think you can do by putting them in basic sequential order. First, second, third, fourth. Whereas it is backstory. Who are really important to us are the Lodis. And that too specifically, I have to discuss Bahlul, Sikandar and Ibrahim Lodi. I'm very surely but very slowly moving towards First Battle of Panipat. So Delhi Sultanate declines. Timur comes, takes Delhi, gives it to Sayyads. Sayyads have been now Sayyads last rule has given it to Behlul Lodi, one of the generals of his empire, or I will not say call it empire also, a small area which he controls. Lodis are Afghans who were ruling within the Sayyid rule, who were previously part of the Delhi Sultanate also, but now have become the real power center because they were able to take, and rather they were able to establish themselves in Bengal quite well, and also they were now the real contenders for real power. Sayyids got nothing other than what Timur gave them. Timur gave them that hold this bottle, and that is what they did. They did not try to expand it. They did not try to do it anything. Sayyids did not have the power, too much infighting. Lodis are different, and that is what I want to discuss with you, which is the Lodis. Can we talk about Lodi dynasty? We are moving towards 1526, which is Babur. We will then discuss a very interesting movement in Central Asia, which will happen, which is the reason why Babur was sitting in Kabul. Now we are again going into that type of discussion, transitionary period, which is how does Babur come to India? Why did Babur come to India? Who is Babur in that regard? We will discuss that. Okay. Lodis are not Turks. वहीं सामने लिखा हुआ है Afghans. On the screen there's only one word. So are Afghans Turks? Afghans are for Afghanistan. Turks are Turks coming from the Central Asian sector. What was the ethnicity of Sayyids? Sayyids. That is the ethnicity. Muslims, but they're called Sayyids. Come from a specific community within Central Asia, linked to Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad's sister. And the story is that they are basically called Khuladran, very important community because religiously considered very important. Can I talk about the Lodhis? Is not they Turks? Firstly, write proper sentences. You're trying to ask, are they not Turks? No, they aren't Turks. Turks came in, that was Mamluk dynasty. They are the only ones who are Turks, proper Turks. What is the identity of Khiljis? Khiljis are proper Turks, full 100% Turks. What is their identity? It is Afghan plus Turk. Very good. And what is the Tughlaq identity? So you told Khilji are Turks, Afghans. Yes. So they removed. It's a mixed identity. And Tughlaqs are Turk plus Jat, which is Indian plus Turk. So Lodhis are proper Afghans. Are proper Afghans. Lodhi title, as soon as you see, it is proper Afghans. Coming from Afghanistan sector. This is okay. The SMEs asked a good question from you, Rahul, actually. Sir, is the topic Mughal dropped out of UPSC syllabus? So the SMEs asked, have you left the class in between? And you've written no. Then when were you sleeping in the class? Then why am I wasting this time here if it was dropped from it? Where are you guys? I don't get it. There's no World Cup to now also distract you. Where? 15-20 minutes. Indian Railways की तरह platform के बाहर खड़े रहते हो. Then you come into the platform slowly. That we've discussed something 15 minutes back. You're coming with a delay of 15-20 minutes. The good question the SME asked you. That where were you? Okay. It's not it's not matrimonial alliances. It's not forced. It's a symbiotic, organic way in which they've developed. Okay. Now, I'm not having unnecessary discussions. I want to discuss Lodhis. Then I want to discuss Baba sitting in Kabul. Then I give you a break and then we talk about First Battle of Panipat. Okay. Now, Lodhis are not like the Sayyids. Lodhis are much, much, much more powerful than the Sayyids. Lodhis are a warring tribe also. They are very good at fighting. And more significantly, Bahlul Lodhi was a very good general. So what Bahlul Lodhi will start to do is, he will start to expand the empire. But Bahlul Lodhi had one issue, that his tribe nobles were very close to him. So he was considered the Sultan, but he was first among equals. Afghans have one very, very important tradition, which is that the king is not a king because he's king. A king is king because the people chose him. So the Afghan nobility and the governorship of, or the nobles around, the ministers around us, Afghan chief, are equally important. This is called the Afghan brotherhood, wherein you are not the king that you will now sit on our heads. No. King, we call you Sultan. That doesn't mean that you are the divine Sultan. We have made you Sultan. So there's an Afghan ethic in that sense, which is this brotherhood concept. Now he will establish himself in Punjab, then expand towards the Central Asian sector. And from Punjab towards the Bengal sector, he will be able to establish himself quite well. He will be able to usurp power away from the Sayyids. Jaunpur, Revai, Etawah, Mewar, Gwalior, Sambhal, all these sectors he takes. So he's expanding towards this area. And generous king, good king, and though illiterate, helped art and culture also. Now the problem is his successors. Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi are not like Behlul Lodi. Sikandar Lodi, when he became the emperor or he became the Lodi dynasty ruler, he does not think like his father that these nobles are equal to me. And Sikandar Lodi, unlike again Behlul Lodi, was a staunch Muslim. He was extremely intolerant policies were followed by him. And one thing which Sikandar Lodi did, which changed the history of politics in India, is that he shifted the capital. He rather said that I don't like Delhi, I would like to go to Agra. So the Agra city and Agra generally, the power will shift away from Delhi to Agra. So you think it started from Kannauj, it started from Patliputra. From Patliputra, it went to Kannauj. From Kannauj, it went to Delhi. And now it will go back to Agra or go towards Agra. And Agra, because it was a little bit further away from the northwestern sector, and Delhi had a lot of reminiscence of Delhi Sultanate and the Sayyids. So they wanted to evade this issue of having these old dynasties. The Mehrauli sector used to remind them of Delhi Sultanate. You had the Qutub Minar, you had the Siri city, you had the Tughlaqabad. They wanted their own individuality that way. And from this point forward, from Sikandar Lodi till Shah Jahan, the power will remain in Agra. Shah Jahan will bring it back to Delhi via the Red Fort and Jama Masjid, which is Shah Jahanabad. And then till the death of Aurangzeb, it will be Delhi. Thereafter, there will be fragmentation. The British will establish their power center in Calcutta. And in 1911, it will come back to Delhi. So Delhi has been the power center in certain periods. And this is the falling of what we call as Delhi out of grace. That now Delhi will be abandoned because it reminded these rulers of Delhi Sultanate and the previous ravages. And Delhi had been destroyed by Timur, had been looted by Timur quite a lot. He will develop a first new type of measurement technique, which is called Gaje Sikandari, which will be 32 units together were called Gaje Sikandari. Previously, it was basically 30. He made it 32. But the Afghan nobles started to notice that Sikandar Lodi was becoming a little bit more assertive. But it is his son Ibrahim Lodi who will become a problem for the Afghan governors and Afghans generally, because he became very, very drunk with power and started to assert a lot of pressure on these Afghan nobles. And the Afghans, they did not like it. The Afghans, the Lodis, did not like it. How Ibrahim Lodi was acting very, very oversmart. And it is one of his governors, Daulat Khan Lodi, who will basically invite, along with Rana Sanga, Babur to come to India. Now, in order to understand that, we need to understand the configuration of how things are placed in India at this point of time. So, if I had to basically show you India in a certain snapshot, you have the Vijayanagara state, which is ruling the southern sector. Then you have that whole Bijapur, Golconda, Bidar, rather not like this, but rather Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Bidar, Berar, Golconda sector, which is that whole disintegrated sector in this area. Thereafter, in North India, we have the Lodis. And Lodi's Punjab governor, I'll show you a map, is Daulat Khan Lodi. But in the Rajasthan sector, a very important personality has become the king who has taken away power, taking the advantage of disarray at Delhi, and his name is Rana Sanga. Rana Sanga ruled from Mewar as the foremost Rajput ruler. And see, whilst in south we have a lot of stability with Vijayanagara here. We have Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Bidar, Golconda, the Malwa, and the sector is little bit fluid. And the Delhi, the Sultanate of Delhi, which is under the Lodhis. Ibrahim Lodi controlled all of this area. But problem was that Ibrahim Lodi had one governor who used to rule this sector, which is Punjab. Now, problem is that Punjab is the flux sector. Too much pressure comes from that area. So from time to time, Daulat Khan Lodi used to ask Ibrahim Lodi, give me some money, take this seriously. It is important that you take care of Punjab. But Ibrahim Lodi is very, very, very drunk with power, very arrogant king. So it is the arrogance of Ibrahim Lodi which will basically make Daulat Khan Lodi so desperate that he will now look for somebody called Babar who was sitting in Kabul. Now, there are two parts to this story. There are two parts to the story. First part is what was happening in India. In India, the peninsular sector is stable. Daulat Khan Lodi hates Ibrahim Lodi and he wants a solution. Rana Sanga also hates Ibrahim Lodi and he wants a solution. Now, the point was neither Rana Sanga defeated Ibrahim Lodi 2-3 times. But the problem is Rana Sanga is not that powerful enough to destroy the Lodi empire, or Daulat Khan Lodi is powerful enough to rebel against Ibrahim Lodi. Now, both of these men, Rana Sanga and Daulat Khan Lodi, are looking for a solution. And somehow a solution would be sitting in Kabul having almonds and cashew, and that is Babar. And Babar is a descendant of Timur himself. But the question was that how is that the ruler of Fargana, the ruler of Samarkand Fargana sector, Babar, what is he doing in a very, very arid area of Kabul, and what is he doing there? Because Babar will be given the invitation to come to India by Daulat Khan Lodi and Rana Sanga, wherein that you come, defeat Ibrahim Lodi, and go back. However, they thought that Babar was a very big king, that he was the Timur, son of Timur. But he was sitting in Kabul as a Bhikhari. Babar did not have food to eat. And he was given the Indian subcontinent on a platter by these two. Now the question is, why is that the son of Timur considered to be very, very important? He's a very, very wealthy empire. What is he doing in Kabul having cashew nuts and basically starving to death? So the point is, I've told you the Delhi part of the story, the Indian part of the story. I want to discuss the other part, which is why was Babar sitting in Kabul? Can I discuss that? Because this historical coincidence, and it's a coincidence, this historical coincidence will change the story of India forever. No, what ruler conquered what place does not come in UPSC. Okay. Can I do that, everybody? Come on. Okay. Now, to understand this, now what we've established, see, what we've established at this point of time is that Daulat Khan Lodi is controlling this part. This is Daulat Khan Lodi. We've established that Rana Sanga is controlling this part. This is Rana Sanga. And we know that Daulat Khan Lodi is nothing but part of a much bigger empire, which is called the Lodi dynasty. In south, we have Vijayanagara, and thereafter we have Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Bidar, Berar, Golconda. Now, Babar is sitting somewhere here. Babar is sitting somewhere here in Kabul. Now, to understand why he is in Kabul, let's try to understand what is happening in Central Asia. And this map will help us do that. Now, see, Timur comes from one side Mongol, one side Chagatai. And what is a very bad tradition in the Mongols after the king dies or the father dies? What is that tradition? The tradition is to partition the empire amongst the sons. A predetermined partition amongst the sons. So Timur dies, and as per his dying wishes, his empire is divided into three parts. His empire is divided into three parts. First part, this is the second part, and this is the third part. The third part. Delhi, either in here you have Daulat Khan Lodi sitting. Here you have Rana Sanga sitting. And this point, the Lodi dynasty is somewhere here. Rana Sanga is somewhere here. This configuration is clear, everybody? Come on. This configuration is clear. Three major parts among three major sons of Timur. But when you divide the empires like this, you give opportunity to people to basically dominate something which was centralized. When you have an empire with one ruler, it is easier. Three rulers will always fight with each other. So now what is going to happen is that from the north, in this sector, will come a very, very, very dominant power called the Ottomans. And the Ottomans will capture this sector. They will kill the sons of Timur, the son who used to control this sector. And Ottoman Turks, they are Turks, proper Turks. Ottoman Turks will be expanding like anything in this period and would have already taken certain parts of Eastern Europe, parts of North Africa, and this is what they will establish themselves properly in. So the Ottomans capture power, take away the power from the first son of Timur. Thereafter, in this area, come from the north another important dynasty. They are called the Safavids. Safavids. They are again a tribe, and basically this area will go under the Safavids. This area will go under the Safavids. So you have the Ottomans who capture the westernmost, and the middle sector is captured by the Safavids. Safavids in that regard have captured the Iran-Iraq sector, and they will be important because Humayun will run to Safavids later. Now in the third sector, at a very small place called Fargana, the father of Babar was ruling, and at a very young age of 12, his father will die in 1494, and he will become the ruler of Fargana. But the problem is that all the sons of Timur are now clocked in this area, Kabul, this third Afghanistan-Pakistan sector, and as it is, they are fighting with each other. But in this area from the north, The Uzbegs, sometimes as also Uzbegs, they will start to create pressure on this area. And basically, Babur was running from Fargana because of the Uzbek pressure and his brothers also asking for more. So basically, when Babur was sitting in Kabul, he was not the ruler of Fargana but a fugitive. Ottomans and Safavids had already taken the mighty empire of Timur, and Uzbeks were creating pressure in this sector. They are creating this pressure in this sector. Now, Babur had no option. He literally was running away with a small army of 10-15,000, and he will be sitting in Kabul, his men eating dry fruits, and with no real opportunity to go back because he is a very small player when it comes to larger politics of Central Asia. However, at this point of time, Daulat Khan Lodi will get to know that at Kabul, a son of Timur is sitting. Uzbeks again a tribe. His name Babur. And now Rana Sanga and Daulat Khan Lodi will say that you come and defeat Ibrahim Lodi. And the presumption was that he will go back. Basically, how Timur came, defeated, went back. How every other invader had done it. They thought that Babur will come, defeat Ibrahim Lodi, take money and go back. And Rana Sanga's interest was that he would have taken Punjab, he would have then taken certain sectors which were not possible. But Babur had no plans to go back only. Because once you get the air of India and its prosperity, why will you go back? So now there's a historical convergence. Babur is a beggar sitting in Kabul, has nothing really to do. And Daulat Khan Lodi and Rana Sanga are desperate to defeat Ibrahim Lodi. And on this historical coincidence, Babur will finally look towards India and will be invited by by Daulat Khan Lodi to fight on the part of the Lodis, or specifically the Afghan lobby, which is Daulat Khan Lodi. So understand this point that Babur was nothing when he came to India. Babur was nothing when he came to India or when he will fight the first battle of Panipat. And he had two major advantages which he will use to his advantage so well that he will defeat with a 15-20,000 army, a army which was 1.5 lakh in that regard. Now, if all of this is clear, I'll give you a breather here and then I want to discuss the first battle of Panipat with you. Are we clear about the convergences here? That how the Timurid Empire disintegrated, how a ruler who should be sitting in Fargana was sitting in Kabul. This is an interesting historical coincidence wherein Babur is sitting desperate and Daulat Khan Lodi is also desperate. Right? Okay. We can do it. Perfect. So we come back at 8:31. 10 minutes you take. Consolidate. We'll discuss thereafter why he won the first battle of Panipat and what is his advantage in that regard. Did Babur win against the Lodis? It's let there be suspense, but the suspense should obviously not be there because Mughal Empire is Babur's the first ruler, so obviously he will win. But the point is, we have to see why did he win. That's a very important question which comes in the examination, right? Okay, we will see. We will see 8:32. 8:32 because that discussion is a little bit heavy. Last 1 hour I want to have properly. Okay. Now, welcome back. Okay. We now have to discuss the first battle of Panipat. And how did Babur win with a much numerically smaller army? Now, when Babur entered, Ibrahim Lodi got to know from Agra that if somebody called Babur has entered, and Daulat Khan Lodi understand this as soon as Babur enters. Daulat Khan Lodi does not back off, but Rana Sanga, after looking at the demeanor of Babur, realized that Babur is not what Daulat Khan Lodi thinks he is. And that is why, as soon as it came to an alliance, Rana Sanga pulled out. He said, I will not contribute and I will not be a part of this because Babur, I don't think, will go back because he's not the person you think he is. But Daulat Khan Lodi was extremely desperate. Now, if you come from the Jalandhar sector and Amritsar sector, and if you have to go towards Delhi, there are two mountain ranges which we will cross. What two mountain ranges will you cross? The Jalandhar Doab and the Delhi sector. Two mountain ranges, one on your left and one on your right. Something like this. You will have on one side the Aravalis, and the other side you will have the, very good, Shivaliks. Now, there's a question which was asked, and previously this question has been asked, that why is that all battles happen in Panipat? And the question is because Panipat is at this convergence point. Panipat is at a convergence point. If you enter from the Khyber Pass, you will have to cross like this itself. If you go to Delhi, if you go to Agra, you have to do like this only. So basically, Babur came from the Jalandhar Doab sector, and Ibrahim Lodi was coming from Agra, Delhi, and towards this sector. And that ways, the wedging of Panipat between, it's a very strategic location, wherein on both sides you have a mountain range, and it's basically a opening to the Indian Doab or to the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So the importance of Panipat is this, that it's not that they chose Panipat randomly. Panipat is a convergence point. If you control this point, then you can basically cut off the enemy between the Ganga Yamuna Doab and the Jalandhar Doab in that regard. Now, Ibrahim Lodi started with an army from Agra. But because Ibrahim Lodi's army is elephant based, the same thing which Prithviraj Chauhan had done, his army is slower to move. Babur only has 16,000 men with him. Daulat Khan Lodi would have given him 10,000 more. Numerically, there was no match. And Babur basically understands this. Why mostly battles end in Panipat? Again, that Indian Railways effect. 5 minutes later, you're asking me the same thing. Panipat is the wedge between Shivaliks and Aravalis. It is the entry point into the Ganga Yamuna Doab. If two people start from the Agra sector and from Lahore, they will converge at this point, which is, it is a strategic location. It is like an opening to the Ganga Yamuna Doab or the Indian plains. Now, as I said, his army is moving slower. Ibrahim Lodi's army moving slower. Babur has a smaller army and it is cavalry based. It's horse based. But the strength of Babur is not those horses, because Ibrahim Lodi also had mounted archers. There are two things which Babur has, which Ibrahim Lodi doesn't have. Babar's advantage was that he knew how to use gunpowder and cannons. Basically, he had one artillery element. Please understand this point. Babar did not introduce gunpowder in India. It was known to Vijayanagar and Bahmani rulers. However, they did not know how to effectively use it. Babar knew what to do with that barud. Babar knew what to do with that barud, which is that he knew he had a proper artillery contingent. तोपे थी उसके पास, as it's called, cannons, topes is what he had. Remember this point forever because it is important. Second is he had a new technique of warfare, which is called the Rummi or Tulug. Tulug Ma technique. And the Rummi and the Tulugma technique was what really mattered in the battle. Now let's try to understand this Rummi and Tulugma technique. Can I discuss first battle of Panipat, how he won? Okay. Now see, this is Lahore side, this is Delhi side. From this side, Ibrahim Lodi is coming, and from this side, Babar is coming. Now, Babar strategically chose a point. Babar strategically chose a point where the distance between these two mountain ranges is the least. This is the battleground of Panipat. So you have the Shivalik on one side and the Aravalis on the other. Minor ranges, not the major ranges, but minor. When it starts to the altitude starts to fall, the hills become a little bit more shallower. Now Babar, what he did was, but because he reached, and this is called the Tulugma technique, because he reached this battlefield quicker, what he does is that he digs, or rather, first takes wagons. I think you understand what is a wagon, what is called bullock carts. There's a cart, so you have the bull on one side. So what he does is that he creates a whole barrage of these. He ties bullock carts together without the bulls. He creates a whole barrage here. So basically, if you look it from far away, it looks like a wall of bullock carts. Looks like a ball of bullock carts. These carts are tied with each other and they are basically now looking like a small, long wall chain of bullock carts. Then he does one more thing, which is that he digs on both sides of these carts. And this technique only works if you have reached, if you have time to prepare, which he had because Ibrahim Lodi was very slowly moving. And in this side, what he does is he basically makes it a very heavy drop. And on this side, he places his archers inside. So basically, they were sitting like this. The archers were sitting like this inside, just waiting. Then, the most important aspect, 1 second, I have to use this area. Archers. Then, what he does, he now divides his army into certain flanks. So, the first flank is nothing but cavalry, the infantry. So he has 2 to 3 walls of 1 second, 2 to 3 walls of infantry. 2 to 3 walls of infantry. So once he's put his infantry like this, he will then most significantly keep 3 to 4 regiments here, hidden away from the main battlefield on both sides of the hill. And thereafter, he will place his most important advantage, which is his artillery. Again, this is not relevant for the examination, but it is important to understand how he did it for understanding of Tulugma technique. He has artillery, here he has infantry, and his archers are sitting there. Now, what Babar allows, artillery means tope. Now, basically, Babar is already set before Ibrahim Lodi has come. And now what he does is that he allows Ibrahim Lodi's very significantly big army to enter into the battlefield. Once that is done, as soon as his infantry comes closer to the bullock cart walls, the archers start hitting them. So the surprise element is there, which is going to basically create a little bit of issue in the front. Then he starts to use his most important element, which is tope. He will start to launch artilleries over this bullock cart wall, and on the front of the battlefield itself, he has created chaos. Afra tafri mach jayegi in the front. Whilst all of this will be happening, Babar will then signal these 2 regiments to move around and hit the enemy from the back and the front. This is today called the Trishul formation. This is basically the Trishul formation. That you have basically 3 fronts. And now what will happen is that Ibrahim Lodi's army will not just be fighting on one area, not be fighting in just one area. They'll be fighting in three areas. They'll be fighting on this front, they'll be fighting on this front and this front. And basically what this will what that did basically come out is that now there is a whole chaos in this core area. And now Ibrahim Lodi did not know which area to protect and which area to not basically protect. And Babur will kill Ibrahim Lodi because of this chaotic warfare technique, which is called Tulugma technique. This is an old Ottoman technique. Ottomans were the ones who basically developed it. And Ibrahim Lodi had no idea about this technique on how to manage it. So he kept his army very close to each other, and that was better and better for Babur. So Babur, using his understanding of Central Asian politics and Central Asian war techniques, he was able to defeat Ibrahim Lodi with a much smaller army. This is called the Tulugma technique. Sometimes you will call it also Rummi technique. Babur won with this technique. And once Ibrahim Lodi will be defeated, now Daulat Khan Lodi will ask Babur to go back. But Babur said, I've just started. And Daulat Khan Lodi will also be killed by Babur. And now Babur will go after a man who had promised something but did not help him. So the first battle of Panipat, 1526, was won with two advantages. One, which is gunpowder, other is technique. Are we clear about this? Are we clear about first battle of Panipat, importance of Tulugma? Okay. Now, once Babur will defeat Rana Sanga, once Babur will defeat Ibrahim Lodi, this is Ibrahim Lodi versus Babur. And in this, Babur will win. Before attacking, both sides decides to place a fight war at one, random attacks other. No, it's a very coordinated movement. Front, you create three fronts, even four fronts, so that the whole army is fighting in every direction. Now, after he dug the carts and dug the things to slow down the movement. Once they come closer, they slow down the movement. Now, after defeating at Panipat Ibrahim Lodi, now Babur will go after Rana Sanga. Rana Sanga very quickly said to all Rajputs, their leader Medni Rai, that Babur is coming. Babur has defeated Ibrahim Lodi, he's killed Daulat Khan Lodi, and he has no plan to go back. So now, as soon as Medni Rai got to know that Babur was coming, you know the answer which Medni Rai gave to Rana Sanga, which is that it's not my problem. You called him, you figure it out. We will see what we have to see. And at the Battle of Khanwa in 1527, Babur will fight Rana Sanga. And Babur will again win. Because nobody had an answer to gunpowder. And the Uzbek and Ottoman techniques he was using in this sector itself. Now, Rana Sanga had already to said that he will not stop there. So at the Battle of Chanderi, Babur will then fight the Rajput Confederacy under Medini Rai, and again Babur will win because they had no idea who Babur was or how he used to operate. And at the last, which is the Battle of Ghaggar, because the Lodhis were being pushed from Delhi, they moved to Agra, then they moved to the Bengal sector. Lodhis were now sitting here after Ibrahim Lodi had been defeated here. The Afghans will fight. The Afghans will fight with Babur at the Battle of Ghaggar, and again Babur will win. Babur in 4 years back to back will defeat in North India 4 major powers. For the purpose of the examination, you need to know first Battle of Panipat, you have Khanwa, Chanderi, and Ghaggar or Ghagar. PKCG. You can be asked to put them in chronological order. So these two battles are related to Lodhis or of the Afghans itself. First with Ibrahim Lodi, and Ghaggar is going to be again with Shesha Suri's father as the one who had to defend the Afghans. He will not be able to. But now Babur was basically moving towards the Bengal sector, and he will capture power at Agra to establish the Mughal Empire in 1526. Battle of Ghaggar is the Afghans versus Babur, and forget about Shesha Suri right now. Afghans versus Babur, Babur wins. Babur wins all three. As I said, Shesha Suri question mark, not right now. I'm saying they fought the Afghans at Ghaggar, and Afghans lost to Babur. Are we clear about this? First 4 won all of them. Babur has won all of them. Now, Babur, Ibrahim Lodi, Rana Sanga, Chanderi, and before his death, he had established himself at Delhi and Agra. This used to be boxes in the NCRT. Very, very beautiful boxes. For your purposes, fortunately, I put these boxes before they were removed by NCRT. So this you will find in every ruler, the points which you should remember in that regard. Is there a second battle of Panipat? I will discuss that. It is not him, but Akbar and Hemu. Now, the other important question. Significance, we already know. Gunpowder, new mode of warfare, and consolidation of North India started. Now, the question is, why are they called Mughals? Why are they called Mughals? And the answer to that question is because the British are dumb. None of the Mughal emperors ever called themselves as Mughals. They always call themselves as Timurids. The descendants of Timur. Now, the reason why they are called Mughals is because the British thought that they are Mongols. So from Mongols, the British cannot say Mongol, so they said Moghols. And from Moghols, it became Mughal. This is a pronunciation issue. They are mother side Mongol, but their father side Timur. And because patrilineality is followed, they should be called Timurids. But the British thought that they were Mongols. So from Mongol became Mughal to became Mughal. That is why no document of the Mughals itself, they call themselves Mughals. They always call themselves Timurids. Why they don't want to reflect the genesis of Mongols? Why they didn't want to reflect the genesis? If you are if you are the great grandson of Timur, why will you call yourself a Genghis Khan? They are not related to Genghis Khan in any way. And we know it because of this very beautiful painting which came in the late, what we call as after Aurangzeb's death, in a way. British can't say words. British, they don't know history, geography, Asia. They did 200. So you really need to know their language to exploit someone. No. Why don't we call them Timurids? We call them some Timurids only. But in popular imagination, they are called Mughals. Can't do something about that. Now, how do we know that they are more why they basically get integrated into the Timurid tradition? Because they always show to Timur. So this is a very interesting painting. Obviously, in imagination, not happened. This has all the Mughal emperors in one picture, along with the descendants of Babur. So in the middle, you have Timur. In the middle, you have Timur sitting, and on his right, which is this area, this one, on his right is Miran Shah. He is the great grandfather, great great grandfather. This is great grandfather, second number, first number. Then you have Babur's grandfather. This is Babur's grandfather. This is Babur's great grandfather. Then on the left, he has Babur's great grandfather. And then to his left, you have this is Babur's father. Babur's father, name Umar Sheikh. And thereafter, you have all Mughal emperors in sequence. You have Babur. Rather, one second. You have Babur. Thereafter, Akbar and Shah Jahan. And on this side, you have Humayun, Jahangir, and Aurangzeb. Atira, it is on the right. So I am looking at them like this. So it will be like this, right, left. CSAT question, come on. It is not, it is on the person's right and left, not your right and left. If I go by this, then the whole sequence will change. As it is, I can identify the emperors by their face. This is Akbar, this is Shah Jahan, this is Jahangir, this is Humayun, this is Aurangzeb. Very categorical representations in that way. So if you reverse it, it will become totally different. This is not Akbar, this is not Babur, and this is not Aurangzeb. Or rather, this is not Shah Jahan. Again, please don't tell me I know what I'm doing. It is not on the left and right of you and me. It is on the left and right of Timur. It says he's right. I pray for your CSAT if you're doing this mistake. When you are doing the question in which you have to do the sequence of people on the table, which is table arrangement, it says B is sitting on the left of, or rather either B is sitting on the left of A. So left is going to be this or this. It will be one or two. B is sitting on the left of A. देख लो, half of you are writing 2, half of you writing 1. It will be 1 because you have to orient yourself with A and then go for his left, not your left. Bhagwan, please practice. You will clear with that 140 you will get, and here you'll fail CSAT. Don't do this. Who is sitting on right of Akbar? Shah Jahan. Right of Akbar is Babar. Left of Akbar is Shah Jahan. Practice kar lo bhai, please. I am telling you, if you are not going to take CSAT very seriously, it will be the biggest blunder of your life. That is a crime to clear paper 1 and fail paper 2. Please. If CSAT class not done, either you are either engineers or your humanity students. Engineers don't need those classes. Humanity students, you can at least do comprehension and you can do other aspects of CSAT. So don't wait. Don't wait. Start. 3 components are there: logical reasoning, mathematics, and English comprehension. English comprehension, you can start as much as you don't have a background in other things, maybe. Costa, let's see. This is the problem. This is the problem. That our issues are totally different itself. I'll see. I'll do one thing. मैंने ये कर दिया, ठीक है? Now left, right, whatever you want to do. Okay? Left, right, you read this and you write it. Done. Can I go to something which really matters? Can I go to something which really matters? UPSC does not get great grandfather, great grandfather, father. They don't care. Okay. Now, perfect. We have discussed. अब तो remove हो गया. अब तो गया. Once gone. Now, first things first. I've discussed with you since the morning. Vijayanagara, Nayankara, Bahamani, timeline, Sayyad, Lodi, Panipat, why Panipat, first 3 set, PKCG. Anybody has any problem here? Anybody has any problem here? No? Okay. Now, why Panipat? Because it is between Aravali and the Shivaliks. It's the entry point into Dua. Okay. Now, the problem Babar has, or rather, Babar has created a problem for his own son, which is that Babar's successor is Humayun. Babar has died. Delhi is still not fully stable, and neither Agra is. The empire is still not fully stable. But Humayun had 3 other brothers: Hindal, Askari, and Kamran. And much like his great grandfather, this fool called Babar is going to divide the empire amongst his sons. So he did the same mistake what Timur did, what Mongol did. So Babar will divide the empire amongst his sons, with Humayun getting the core of the Doab region. The eldest son getting Agra, Delhi, and the Doab, which is Ganga Yamuna Doab. Kamran got the Lahore and Punjab sector, and he was very ambitious. Askari has the Rajputana, and Hindal has the what we call as the Deccanish sector, the modern day MP sector. Now Humayun has a little bit of a problem, that his brothers want to take the most important area, so there's no unity amongst themselves. But he also has one more problem, which is that a little bit drunkard. He loved opium too much, ज़्यादा ही drinks too much. So his issues are mostly not very aligned with what the empire needs. So mostly intoxicated. He will die like that also. Humayun's death happened whilst being drunk. He fell from his library and broke his neck. So yeah, he loved books. He loved books. It is believed that Humayun at this point of time had the best book collection in the world at this point of time. Very, very beautiful library, very good books. But क्या कर सकते हैं? Little bit drunk. And somehow the Afghans also knew that he was a little bit of a irrational ruler when it came to political decisions, and Kamran was a little bit too ambitious. And for the same reason, in the Bengal sector, there will rise a person called Sher Shah Suri. Sher Shah Suri. Sher Shah Suri is an Afghan. He had his father had fought against Babur in the Battle of Ghaggar. But Sher Shah Suri is a very good administrator. He's very good administrator. He understands the empire very, very well. He knows the empire very well. He knows the sector very well, which is this whole Bengal, Bihar sector. He knows it very, very well. And he can see that Humayun is building a fort. Purana Kila was built by him only. So Purana Kila is building a fort. He's having his library. He's enjoying, and he does not understand one thing, that the Afghans are again rising. These are the Lodis who are again rising. The Afghans are rising against Humayun. And what will happen is that Sher Shah Suri will challenge Humayun 2 times. The first battle which they fought was called the Battle of Chausa. Battle of Chausa. At Chausa, Humayun was defeated by Sher Shah Suri, but Humayun was saved by the fact that he fell from his horse into the river Ganga. And he was taken by the current away from Sher Shah Suri. So he basically was saved by the Ganga itself, which is in the Battle of Chausa. Now, a man who was saved by water should go back and do what? Why did Babur partition? Because Timurid tradition it is there. It's a Mongolian tradition. If you are going to just very simply be saved by the river, either you will do 2 things. Either you retaliate or you run. Retaliate because now you understand the importance of Sher Shah Suri. But he said, नहीं, construction करने का वो दीवार खत्म नहीं हुई. Let's complete this wall. This wall needs to be completed. He again did not care about Sher Shah Suri. And Kamran was also creating pressure on Humayun to cede certain areas to him. So Humayun is now getting under pressure. Now, at the very, very decisive battle of what we call as Kannauj, Sher Shah Suri will again defeat Humayun, and again somehow Humayun will again be saved by falling into the water. Kooch jata tha. That was his way of basically saving himself. Both at Chausa and Kannauj, he was saved. At Chausa, he also got saved by the river, and Kannauj, he also got saved by the river. But in Kannauj, the defeat was more decisive and much more what we call as critical. And Now Humayun did something which he would have done previously, which is that now Sher Shah Suri will not leave Humayun. He will pursue him till Agra. And now, as soon as this happens, Kamran moves towards Delhi and takes Delhi. And now Humayun has no other option because his brothers don't give him refuge. And he has to now run, and he runs via the Amarkot sector towards Rajasthan and then into Safavid Empire. And it is at Amarkot that Akbar will be born. But Akbar will be then taken into custody by Kamran, who will not do anything to Akbar, but he will keep them as an insurance policy. So now Sher Shah Suri between 1540 and 1555, he will establish for 15 years what is called the Sher Shah Suri dynasty. So now basically the Mughal empire has stopped. This is called the interganam period, wherein Mughals have gone because Humayun has ran away, and Sher Shah Suri will very effectively defeat Kamran also, Hindal also, and Askari also, and establish himself in North India. But in 1555, Humayun will come back. Humayun will come back with the help of Safavid Shah, who was the ruler of Safavids. And in the Battle of Sirhind, Humayun will be defeated. Humayun will defeat. Humayun will defeat. He will first get united by his son. Humayun will defeat. Humayun defeats the son of Sher Shah Suri, Sikandar Suri, and re-establish the empire in 1555. So the period between 1526 to 1540 is Mughal Empire. Then for this period, 1555, 15 years, it is Sher Shah Suri. And then from 1555, it is again Mughal Empire. And ironically, within 6 months, 1556, he will die, and Akbar will become at a very young age of 13 the emperor of Mughal Empire with multiple problems. Did Kamran help Sher Shah Suri? No, Sher Shah Suri went after Kamran. So now, very simply, for us, this is the basic sequence. Babar, Humayun, Sher Shah Suri in between, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. In your life, never forget this sequence because this is important for every examination. Babar, Humayun, Sher Shah Suri, Akbar, but we call it Sher Shah Suri if I remove. Babar, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. Now, Humayun, as I told you, will succeed at the age of 23. Afghans had not fully been subdued, and Kamran and his other brothers had got other parts of the empire. Kabul, Kandahar under Humayun's brother Kamran. Now, at Chausa, Humayun will be defeated by Sher Shah Suri for the first time. In 1540, Sher Shah Suri will again give a very decisive defeat to Humayun. And after the Battle of Kannauj, he will basically run away. And after the lapse of 15 years, Humayun will come back and fight the Battle of Sirhind in 1555. And that will be against Sikandar Shah Suri. And that will be the re-establishment of the Mughal Emperor or Mughal Empire. The same things have been written in the NCRT-based understanding, wherein you can see 1530 to 40, 55 to 56. That interganam period is not there. Interganam period is Sur dynasty. Between 1540 to 1555, we call it interganam. Interganam means basically intermediate or transition. So when Humayun will re-establish his empire, this is the area which they used to control at that point of time. This is the area which they used to control. Now, for the purpose of the examination, this sequence is very important. This sequence is very, very important, which is Panipat, first battle of Panipat. Then not Chausa, Khanwa, Chanderi. Thereafter, Ghagra. Then Chausa, Kannauj, and then Sarhind. And just to add it, Akbar will fight the last Afghan rebellion under a person called Hem Chandra, a Hindu ruler who was regrouping in Bengal, and he was called Hemu. Hemu versus Akbar is second battle of Panipat. That is 1556. This is 1526. 27, 28, 29. Thereafter, 39, 40, 55. Can you remember the sequence? PKCG, CKS, whatever you want to make it out of it. This is the basic sequence. Hemu is not an Afghan. He's a Hindu ruler, but he was commanding the Afghan alliance. Right? So P, K, C, G, but now there are two Ks. So this will be P, K, C, G. Then there are two C's also. So you have to make a different one only altogether. You have to make it something like this. Pa, pa, kha, cha, gha. Chauka, sarpa. Something like that. This is good. Chauka. Chausa se chauka. Make whatever you want to make. Now, yes, that is the point. He did not buy. Humayun survived battles, but he died in a library. That's a separate issue altogether. Now, I'll stop here. Because I don't want to start Akbar. And I have to do, before I start Akbar, I have to do Shesha Suri properly. Because Shesha Suri is actually the one who will introduce a lot of things which Akbar will use. One is called all the trade-based Grand Trunk Road, the way he made sarais, the way he made multiple invention or what were interventions in taxation. He's also the one who introduced Ray, which is very important. He's also the one who introduced a lot of techniques which Akbar uses later. For example, his Rajput policy is taken forward by Akbar. So Sher Shah Suri basically is much more important than Humayun. And actually, Humayun's contribution administratively is zero. And Sher Shah Suri was the one who started Rupiah also, which the rupee which you see today, Rupiah, that silver coin which is called Rupiah, is also started by Sher Shah Suri only. So understand this point. That no, we'll discuss Sher Shah Suri's contribution tomorrow, first thing. Then we discuss Akbar's contribution, Shahjahan, Jahangir, Shahjahan, Aurangzeb. The concept is going to be, I will only discuss the political history with you first, which is quite less. Then you need to know about Jahangir and then Noor Jahan Junta. You have to discuss Akbar and what he did generally. Then you discuss Shah Jahan and how he fought with Jahangir, how Aurangzeb had an issue with Shah Jahan, and then Aurangzeb comes to power. And last is going to be, then the most important discussion starts, administration. So again, the same pattern will be followed, political history, then administration, right? Isn't necessary to learn in which ruler, which battle. You have to remember that. Obviously, this is Ibrahim Lodi, this is Rana Sanga, this is Medni Rai, this is Lodi, the Afghans, this is Babar versus Shesha Suri, Babar versus, Humayun versus Shesha Suri, Humayun versus Shesha Suri, Humayun versus Sikandar Shah Suri, and Akbar versus Hemu. That's what you have to remember that. Humayun's period was called Golden Period of Art. Mona Lisa, I don't know where you get that. It is Akbar and Jahangir's period and Shah Jahan's period, which is the golden period of art and architecture. No, Humayun did not have the money or the time to do these things. Okay. Why Indians, sir, in Afghans were under which ruler? That is Sher Shah Suri's father. Sher Khan is the name. Is Sher Khanish, but you don't have to remember that. If I'm not giving you that name, don't take it. Again, Kishan, firstly, I don't know who that person is. Secondly, that is technically not true. Thirdly, it is not a given. Fourthly, it is something which is already trying to, if you get demoralized by that statement, then you're already falling into the trap. that person is just saying it because he's randomly cleared the examination. So he is no authority in saying nothing. So he is no one to say nothing. This is a very big infatuation with toppers, which is there, which all students tend to follow toppers. And if you will listen to toppers, this is what they will say. So he is no one to say nothing. Nobody is doing a linguistic and demographic analysis of Labasna, and it doesn't really matter where you come from or where you are going. It's about clearing this examination. So if you are going to give so much heed to what this random person is saying, I really don't care. That is the basic point. There is a lot to get demoralized. Doesn't matter. That it with 99% of people come from elite colleges. I think he's from Maulana Azad Medical College himself. He's not from a medical college which is very elite. So he should not be the one to say that he's the one. This question came to me in Saturday, Sunday class also, in weekend batch also. If he was from AIMS, I would have got an understanding that he okay, elite colleges. So forget it. There are people, as I always tell you this point, the obsession with toppers, paper toppers, analysis toppers, this and that will only take you in a certain direction, which is not going to work for you. It worked for them, it will not work for you. Nobody knows how to clear this examination until they clear it. Once they clear it, they become experts in clearing it. They have been clueless as you are. They have been demotivated as you are. They had no idea what they were doing as you are. So stop following people who have now become random experts because they argue that they're experts. So don't do that. So it doesn't really matter. There is no set pattern. Everybody can clear this examination. You only need discipline and dedication. That's it. So colleges, if they started to matter, then things would be totally different in that regard. Yes, there are a lot of people who are going from IITs, but IIT is a different concept itself. That is a totally different concept. Elite colleges, there are no elite colleges in India. Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, if you're coming from, then I understand it's an elite college. All colleges are equal. Delhi University, JNU, Jamia, everything, every college is equal. I've taught in these colleges. All more the elite college, or rather the so-called elite college, the worse the culture of studies. I've taught in Hindu, I've taught in St. Stephen's, I've taught in LSR also. But the most dedicated students I found were in the colleges which are lesser known in Delhi University. So don't worry about that. Okay. I will see you tomorrow, same time. We take this story forward. Thank you.